Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Napoleon Total back with some Enlisted videos. And today I'm going to be doing a campaign guide. And what a campaign guide is basically I take a campaign, in this case the Battle of Berlin, and I'm just going to do a review on it of how I think what to do. So this is the campaign guide for the Battle of Berlin, and let's get started. Let's first start with the historical aspect of the Battle of Berlin. The Battle of Berlin occurred from 16th of April 1945 to the 2nd of May 1945. It was the last major battle and the last major offensive of the Eastern Theater of the Second World War. This Battle of Berlin occurred after the Vistula-Oder offensive, which occurred from January to February of 1945, in which the Red Army was actually halted 60 miles outside of Berlin. From 16th of April, the Battle of Berlin officially began, and it was led in terms by Zhukov's 1st Belarusian Front and Marshal Konyev's 1st Ukrainian Front, of which both were making a pincer attack to surround Berlin. The battle was itself very bloody, involving mostly street-to-street fighting, most units fighting to their deaths. The Germans were mostly made out of volunteers, Volkssturm, and some elite SS units, while on the other hand, the Russians or the Soviet Union was mostly made up of veterans from all over the Soviet Union. The battle will end May the 2nd, 1945, in which the city garrison surrendered, and by the 7th of May, Germany itself would surrender to the Allied forces, ending the war in Europe. Now, let's move on to campaign progression. For the Axis side, the Battle of Berlin is quite simple. At level 2, you get the 15th Grenadier Division of the 15th Fusilier Battalion with a Kar 98 scope-mounted rifle. You get the 1st Premium Squad at level 2, I guess, or you can just buy it with your money, or using gold. Enlisted gold, yeah. I highly wouldn't suggest you get this 1st Volkssturm Company because it's a rifleman and it's quite bad, to be honest with you. Generally, riflemen in Enlisted are quite bad, especially at this stage, which is Berlin. At level 3, you get an Engineer Squad. It comes with the Kar 98. Just keep in mind that the Engineer Squad is what you need and not the Kar 98. Not that the Kar 98 is a bad weapon, but you really want to max out the Engineers for the late game. Level 4, you get the Luftwaffe Dueling Rifle. Level 5, you get a plane, a Bf-109 G6. Level 6, you get a Volkssturm Company with Panzerfaust 60, which allows you to take out tanks more effectively. Level 7, you get the Gewehr 43 with a radio operator. What is important to note here is the Gewehr 43 and not the radio operator squad. Not that you can't use the radio operator squad, it's just that I personally just use the Gewehr 43. Level 8, you get the MP40, which is not bad for the early game. You get another premium squad. You get another premium squad with a Panzer A a Panther of the A variant, and it's from the Kunersdorf Panzer Battalion. The 9th level, you get the 9th Parachute Division you get the 25th Parachute Regiment of the 9th Panzer Parachute Division, and that comes with an MG34, which comes with 50 rounds and 100 rounds in total. So this thing and this squad is pretty amazing. So level 9, you get something amazing. Level 10, you get a Stuka Ju-87 D5, which is it's usable but not interesting. Level 11, you come with a 20th Artillery Regiment, which is part of the 20th Panzer Grenadier Division, which in turn gives you a mortar crew, which is not really interesting at all. Level 12, you get a Panzer G. Level 13, you get a Fusilier Battalion, which is basically a pre-war Kar 98 scope with mount. It gives you a sniper too, but really I wouldn't be using that. Level 14, you will be getting the 699th Infantry Regiment, which is a Salter Squad, and that will be giving you MP35. Once again, nothing amazing. Next one is just a Grenadier launcher tied to a Kar 98, so nothing really interesting there. A Bf-109 G14 at level 16, so nothing really interesting. Level 17th, you get the 27th Parachute Regiment, part of the 9th Parachute Division, which basically just gives you a flamethrower And this thing can be highly useful, especially in close quarter places like Hitler's office, Goring's borough, and the train station, essentially. Or some parts of the train station. You have another premium squad with the MP401, basically highly upgraded MP40. Level 18, you get the AMG42, which is absolutely terrifying. Level 19, you get the ME410. Level 20, the VG15. Not a big fan of it. Once again, another premium squad, this time with a BF-G14. Level 21, you get the FG42 with the 11th Pioneer Battalion of the 11th Panzer Grenadier Division. This gives you the Engineer 2, and is something that with the FG42 is something that you should be doing or getting. Or should be at least looking forward to get, because the FG42 is absolutely amazing, but more on that in the weapons section. At level 22, you get the Panzer IV 70A. Level 23, you get a MG43 with double magazines, so this thing can have 75 rounds. And it comes with another MG division, MG squad, the 11th Pioneer Battalion of the 11th Panzer Grenadier Division. One second. Yep. And after that, you get another premium squad. Oh, sorry. It's not. Sorry. You get an MG34 with a double mag, which is 75 rounds. And then with that, you have another MG squad, which is the 56th Infantry Regiment of the 5th Light Infantry Division. Next, you have basically another premium Panzer IV-J, which is, if you have the Panther, why get this thing? At level 24, you get a Gewehr 43 mounted with a scope. Interesting, but snipers are not that really useful, especially in close quarters combat in Berlin. Level 25, you get a BF-109 G10. Level 26, you have a Beretta M38 with 40 rounds. Level 27, you get another flamethrower, which is the 58th Grenadier Division tied to the 33rd Grenadier Division. And you literally just get a flamethrower 41. Level 28, you get a Focke-Wulf 190 D12. Level 29, you get a FG-42 with a radio operator squad, which is nothing to cough at, especially the FG-42-2, because that thing is just an upgrade of FG-42, which is already quite devastating. Level 30, you get a Panzerfaust 100. Another premium squad, this time is the 51st Grenadier Regiment of the 18th Panzer Grenadier Division, which is interesting. At level 31, you have the King, which is the Tiger E, and this thing is absolutely terrifying on the battlefield. You should really be getting this, or you should be looking forward to get this. And that does it for the Axis squads. Next will be the Allied squads. For the Allies, the situation is quite different. At level 2, it's pretty much the same. Level 3, it's pretty much the same. You get a Mosin, but at level 2, you get a Mosin with a sniper. Level 4, once again, is the exact same thing with a shotgun. Level 5, guess what? It's the exact same thing. LA5FN. Level 6, to my surprise, to get a Panzerfaust 60. But considering how much stuff that the Germans were leaving behind, it's not impossible. Level 7, STV-40, nothing to cough at. Level 8, PBS-43, SMG. I would honestly say you should be getting this. If you're playing the Soviets, you have the upper hand in the SMG department because you have the PBS-43. And that thing just outclasses the MP-40. By level 9, you get the DP-27 with the 74th Guards Infantry Regiment of the 27th Guards Infantry Division. Once again, like the German side. Quite interesting. Very good squad and very interesting SMG. Not as good as the MG34, but still pretty good. Level 10, the exact same thing as a Stuka, but this time you get an IL-2. Level 11, you get a RM38. Sorry, RM38. I can't speak today. RM38, which is, once again, you guessed it, a mortar team. Level 12, you get the T-34-85. Level 13, you get a STVRV sniper, which is interesting because the Soviets get a sniper STRV quicker than the Germans do. Level 14, you have something amazing, and that is the PPSH-41 box, and this thing is amazing. Level 15, you get a Mosin with a grenade thrower, same as the Germans, but just interesting. Level 16, you get a Yak-3. Level 17, you get a flamethrower ROKS-2, and that thing is absolutely terrifying if used correctly. Level 18, you get a DP-8 DPM, and once again, not as good as the MG42, but still pretty good. Level 19, you get an IL-2M Type 3. Level 20, you get the PPD-40, and this thing is absolutely amazing. 21, you get an AVS-36. Once again, something in it is amazing. That with the engineers is also amazing. Level 22, you have a SU-85M. Once again, very good self-propelled gun or tank destroyer, depending on your way of looking at it. 23, you get a DT-29. Once again, not as good as the MG-34 with 75 rounds, but this thing is also amazing. Level 24, you get a semi-automatic sniper rifle STV-40, which, if we look back here, my question is, didn't we already have that? But, yeah. Moving on, next up, at level 25, we already have the Yak-9T, which is, once again, pretty interesting. PPSH-41, you should get this. This thing is it's a mini MG42. It is terrifying. That and the PPD-40 are amazing. Level 27, you have another flamethrower, which is pretty much like the first one. 342nd Guards Infantry Regiment tied to the 121st Guards Infantry Division. And for those that are wondering, yeah, at this point you will be seeing a lot of Guard Regiment or divisions. 27th, you'll be seeing an IL-10, which is once again amazing, but not the best. 29, you'll be seeing an AVT-40 with a communications battalion. 30, you'll be seeing a Panzerfaust 100, and at level 31, something really amazing is the IS-1. That and the Tiger are pretty amazing, and that wraps it up for both sides' campaign progression. Now let's do the weapons for the Axis side of the Battle of Berlin. In terms of weapons, for Germany, in terms of rifles, get the Gewehr 43 the second you reach level 7. After that, just use the Gewehr 43 until you get to level 21, in which you get the FG42. And after that, reach level 29, get the FG42 too. The Sniper Gewehr 43, I can see you potentially using it, but don't rely on it, obviously, like that with the FG42 and the FG42 too. Those are your mainstay for your weapons. And there is a certain way to play them, which is basically using engineers. Next, let's go to assault weapons, in which, for Germany, you really shouldn't be relying on SMGs. Potentially you can use a shotgun, but at the late game, you might as well just use an SMG that can actually do something. And for Germany, sadly, you don't. But you do get something even better, and that is the machine guns. MG34, amazing, way better. It's better than the Soviet SMG. It's better than the Soviet machine guns. MG42, way better than the Soviet machine guns. And MG34 with a double magazine is basically just an upgraded MG34, and it is upgraded because it has a 75 round magazine instead of a 50 round magazine. In terms of everything else, flamethrower, I suggest now you get one. Stay away from the mortars. Potentially you can get some Panzerfaust 60s or Panzerfaust 100s, but that's it. In terms of vehicles, just level your way up slowly until you get the Tiger E. And in terms of aircraft is not really used, but if you are interested, just like with the tanks, slowly progress up. And that is about it for the Axis in terms of weapons. For the situation of the Soviet Union, it's quite a little bit different. In terms of rifles, just get the STR-V40. But the Soviet Union does have a good starting weapon not because of the gun, but because it has a bayonet on top, and this thing can be very useful in close quarters combat. STR-V38 with a sniper on top, it's pretty good. It's pretty good, especially with a sniper. But yeah, they do have a sniper STR-V38, and you get that faster than the Germans do. That with a grenade launcher is something I wouldn't get. The AVS, 36 is pretty good. It's very good actually. STR-V40 with a sniper rifle, exact same thing as the STV-38, but just upgraded. And AVT-40, yeah, just at this point, these are good, but not as good as the FG-42. In terms of assault weapons, the Soviet Union has way better assault weapons than what the Germans have. PBSH-42, very good for its tier. TOZB, very great shotgun. PBS-43, great SMG, especially for its level 8. It's pretty good. PBSH-41 box, this thing is quite good. Just not enough ammunition because the time you spending your ammunition is faster than you reloading. PBD-40, amazing weapon. Get this and this. In all reality, all these Soviet SMGs, depending on what level you are very good. So yeah, in terms of what Germany lacks in SMG, the Soviet makes up for it with its SMGs. In terms of heavy weapons, what Germany has in heavy weapons, the Soviet Union does not have that good in terms of heavy weapons. But it does have some pretty interesting stuff. Panzerfaust 60, once again, I don't know what the Soviet Union are getting Panzerfaust, but judging the situation by 1945 and how many stuff the Germans are leaving behind, I don't see that as a big problem. DP-27, pretty good LMG. Nice flamethrower. DPM, nice SMG. DT-29, once again, a nice LMG. Once again, all the DP series, or DP and DT series, are pretty good LMGs, just in my mind, not as good as the German ones. And finally, you have the ROKS-3 and the Panzerfaust 100, exact same as the Germans, except for the Germans have a different name for their flamethrower. But yeah, that's it for the weapons, in terms of heavy weapons. Now let's go to tanks. In terms of tanks, you do have the T-34-85. It's T-34 because it's made in the year 1934, and 85, once again, stands for the 85mm gun. You have a T-34, T-34, 85, Su-85M, pretty interesting. But the real killer here is the IS-1, which is very amazing. In terms of planes, same as the Germans, is the level of progression. Once again, I don't really think planes are that useful in Berlin, but yeah, let's get over it. And that is it for the weapons in terms of the Allies. And next we'll be moving on to squads. Now let's move on to squads. For Germany, or the Axis, I highly suggest that you bring 3 squads. 4 to be exact, but let's go with the 3 infantry squads. The first one is an LMG, the second one is engineer squads. Those two could be potentially interchangeable because both of them are equally amazing. The engineer, because you will be decking out your late game units with FG-42 or FG-42-2s, and those things are absolutely terrifying, but they need ammunition, so you might as well just deploy engineer squads to build ammo racks and let them just run around. The LMG squads are because LMGs are absolutely terrifying. The Germans really don't have any good SMG squads, so you might as well just deploy your gunner squads or LMG squads. And the last one is pretty much your choice. I've seen some people deploy flamethrowers. I've seen other people deploy radio squads. I've even seen people deploy a rifleman squad, but at that point you have to realize in the late game, the Germans have FG-42s running around, so those rifleman squads are actually pretty terrifying. And your last choice, if you don't have premium, is basically what vehicle do you bring? If I were you, I would actually bring a tank instead of a plane. Not that a plane doesn't work, but because on some maps the tanks are way better than planes. And the reason to that is because planes are really hard to find their targets, at least for me. But if you think you prefer planes instead of tanks, go for it. The situation for the Allies is somewhat similar in the sense that the Allies, you also do have to rely on your LMG squads. Your SMG squads are actually usable because your SMGs are way better than what the Germans have in terms of SMGs. And thankfully, because of your SMGs, you actually have a lot more ammunition. And finally, you can also deploy an engineer squad, but because the Soviets are not really that lacking ammunition, you don't really need that. And also to add to the fact that the Soviet LMGs squads, the gunner squads, the Soviet gunner squads, they have engineers, so it makes up for them. And finally, I would go with tank instead of a plane, but from the looks of it, you can possibly deploy a plane for the Soviet Union. And that is pretty much it for the squads. And let's finally move on to the map. In terms of the map, both sides pretty much have the exact same map. They have both good starting points and ending points, except for some maps, of course. The maps are Ministry Garden, Königsblatt, Hermann Göring Strauss, the Moat, the Kroll Opera House, Wilhelm Strauss, Liebe Bahnhof, and the Reichschancellery. Now you might be thinking, most of these maps are pretty urban. As a matter of fact, some maps are extremely open. Places like Königsblatt are very urban in some areas and very flat in some areas. What that means is that you'll be relying on close quarters combat a lot of the time. So therefore you might want to bring a lot of automatic weapons. That said, the scenery is quite nice, and the maps are quite interesting. Not to mention, they are also quite fair. Finally, let's talk about tips and tricks. Depending on what faction you're playing, if it's for the Axis, then I once again would highly suggest you that you deploy an SMG, an engineer, and one of your choosing, and a vehicle. That said, I would really deck out your SMG squads, and because those SMG squads can be real squad killers, especially with those FG-42s intact. That and the machine guns are really good squad killers. You'll find most of the times that you'll be playing with players who don't really have better or worse equipment than yours, and that is to keep in mind your overall team performance. Another thing is that buildings in Berlin, there are two types: buildings that you have a roof over and buildings that you don't have a roof over. For those that don't have a roof over, you can actually order artillery bombardments. Not that a lot of artillery shells will be entering through the roof, depending on the gap on the roof. But you can order an artillery bombardment and actually kill some people. Another thing that I have with people is that they are not such map aware. They don't have map awareness, is what I'm trying to say. I've seen some people now run straight through an open area just to only get shot and killed. Another interesting thing is that for tanks, if you're deploying a tank, stay way back. Do not come onto the field unless you're a very fast tank, or two, you're a very armored tank, or unless you are pretty sure that there are no anti-tank infantry, which at this point is kind of hard because explosion packs are running around everywhere. So you should be really be careful. For those that don't know, explosion packs can kill tanks better than any grenade. So therefore you should be decking all your troops out with explosion packs. That's another tip. Another tip is snipers. Snipers are useful, especially in street-to-street fighting, but to avoid a sniper or any bolt-action rifle sniping mechanism, move around. I highly suggest that you move around in zigzag formations, and that, along with all other maps, is going to be really useful. In terms of Berlin, you can also jump from building to building, depending on the height, and you can also jump off of buildings. And Berlin is one of those maps that you can actually jump out of a building, and because the place where you land, hopefully that cannot kill you. That won't kill you. But there are places in which you jump off a building and it kills you. Another thing is the engineer class. Once again, like I said, engineer class for Germany should be getting the FG-42, and you should just be deploying ammo boxes, refilling your ammunition, and moving on to the next objective. And finally, especially in train areas, what I don't quite understand are people what they will do is that they'll stand right next to a train while the train is moving, and their entire squad will be doing that, and machine gunners or snipers on the sides of the train will just mow like entire squads down, and the exact same thing happens over and over again. The armored train will keep moving, but the squads will try to stay on the side of the train. Obviously, that is not to get crushed, but at the same time, you are heavily inflicted by machine gun fire. That said, a good way to deal with this is have your squad away from the train. It is kind of hard to make your squad move at a distance, but you can press X to do that, and yes, have your squad stay away from you, and that goes with most all campaigns, except for some, but actually no, all of them. So keep a good distance between your squad and where you are, especially if you're on the train map, and not to mention the fact that on the train map, when you're on the train, for some reason, when you kill a person, their ammunition just drops down into the rails and not onto the train. That said, so there's their body. So yeah, that's that. And another thing with the train is that you don't really have to be in the train to kill people in the train. You can just, because the trains are not open top, but they have massive gaps depending on where they are. And also, I think that a good sector to hit with your artillery is right behind the train or right in front of the train, depending if you're attacking or defending. But that is pretty much it for the tips and tricks. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I will be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.